You are listening to the CittaCalcioUsa show, the only news and podcast in English about AS Cittadella. Hello everyone, welcome back to the CittaCalcioUsa show, episode number 134, coming to you on Thursday, July 25th. Cittadella have started preseason training in Laverone. They headed up to the mountains this past weekend after a beautiful opening opening ceremony in Piazza Pierrobon this past week. We also have some transfer news. We have a new rumors. We've got new transfer updates, but we do know that Filippo Pittarello is leaving Cittadella after one season, signing with Catanzaro today, actually, on this Thursday. So we have some things to talk about here in this podcast, more transfer news updates, and we got some preseason match upcoming and have already been completed in Laverone. So without further ado, let's get right into this podcast. Please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CittaCalcioUsa if you haven't done already, and follow us on our website, CittaCalcioUsa.com, for more articles, news, all that stuff at CittaCalcioUsa.com. If you have not done already, that's where you could find us. Just wanted to put that out before we get into this podcast. But now we could finally get into it. Let's start with the Laverone. So, fantastic presentation last Saturday. Thank you to everyone who came out. I was really jealous that I wasn't able to come, as I've after all these years that I've been following Cittadella. That's been the one thing that I have yet to do so far, and that's probably the most jealous I ever get of the most times that I wish I was in Italy for the opening presentation, especially last season when they had the 50th anniversary. It was a special one. They had lots of fireworks at the stadium. So, but this time it was back at Piazza Pierrobon. Our good friend Luca, who has been on this podcast many times in the past, went to that. So thank you to Luca for all those videos and photos that you sent. It looked like it was a fantastic time. An interesting fact that it did apparently rain a little bit, and apparently that was the first time it rained ever since Cittadella has done this presentation. So could that be meaning something will happen this season? Does that mean that a special event, a special thing is coming for Cittadella? Is that a sign that maybe it's something to come? We will see, but that was a very interesting thing that Luca actually told me, that it was raining there for a little bit, and in the past presentations apparently it has never rained ever, and so maybe this year is different, and maybe this year it means something special. But we'll keep remembering that and see if anything comes up. But at the presentation, the new kits were unveiled. It is classic maroon granata colors for Cittadella. It's a bit basic, if you ask me. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just saying it's you can't go wrong with the granata colors, the solid granata colors. No more gold on the Cirmax logo, and as well as the Herrera logo. No gold there. It's back to white. And on the sleeves, under the sleeves, kind of towards the armpits area, it looks like they have this cool graphic design where it's hard to explain, but you would have to see for yourself to discuss. But not a bad kit. I think it's simple but very nice. I do like the number font on the back. It kind of like a box kind of graphic design that's very interesting. So I'm in favor of it. There hasn't been really a home kit of Cittadella's that I've generally disliked. Really, they've been solid kits year after year, and this is once again another one. So out of 10, with 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I think I'm going to give it a 6.5. It doesn't really outstand me, kind of like how it did last season, or I can't even remember what I gave it a grade last season or the years before, but I think I do prefer last season's home kit better, just because it had that extra touch of gold, and it had a little bit of more design on the front. But I'm not saying this is a bad. I think 6.5 is still pretty decent. If it's on like a grade scale, I'd probably give it a B. Not bad. I think it can be improved in some areas, but overall, it's always a nice kit with the Granata colors. You can't go wrong. Like I said, can't go wrong with a solid color like that. A little bit of information about the upcoming kits is the away kit and the alternative kit. So most likely a yellow kit and a white kit will be available soon. That the club will be announcing that and will be promoting that very shortly. So in the upcoming weeks, or not weeks, upcoming days, you should say, you should be able to see those kits, and I'll be grading them probably on the next podcast that we will have here. But yeah, that's kind of like my takeaway from the kit. That's kind of all I have to say about the presentation. It was I couldn't say much because I wasn't there and I didn't watch. I only saw a few clips and a few photos, but it's great to see everyone there. Great to see the players, great to see Guarini, Marchetti, Gabrielli, and all the fans. The Ultra group was there. It was a very good presentation. So once again, thank you for Cittadella for organizing it, as they always do a fantastic job with those things. But the day after that presentation on Saturday, Cittadella did start their retreat in Laverone at the resort, as they've been doing in these past few years. They started with a 21-0 win against Alpe Cimbra. That's the team that Cittadella has been playing first for many, many years now. Alpe Cimbra is a local amateur side near Laverone. So 21-0, not much to say there other than it's really demolition, complete blowout there. But it's professionals versus local amateurs, so it's, for me, it's not super surprising. I often see like a lot of people in the media landscape where they say like, oh, Bayern Munich beat this team 20-0. Well, yeah, of course they're Bayern Munich. They're one of the best teams in the world, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they're beating this amateur semi-pro side. Yeah, of course they're going to win 20-0, but anyway, that happens, I feel like, every preseason, which, I think it's quite foolish because, the gap in quality is obviously there. So anyway, that's enough for me. 21-0 against Alpe Cimbra, and then a few days after, they had their second match against Real Vicenza. That was a 3-0 win for Cittadella. So less goals in that one, but they have won their two games by a combined score of 24-0. So in the next upcoming games, I am going to pull up the schedule right here, as I quickly forget what they play every now and then. But they play AC Este on July 26th, so that is tomorrow. They'll be playing another preseason match. And then Festa dei Tifosi, where a lot of the fans are going to be making their trip up to the mountains for that. I know our good friend Luca will be, so keep an eye out on social media for that. On Saturday, yes, the 28th. No, that is a Sunday. Sunday, they will be playing Virtus Verona Serie C side on the 28th at 5 p.m. in Laverone, and that's the Festa dei Tifosi. So there's going to be a lot of fans there and a lot of coverage, so be on the lookout for that. The 31st, they play FC Legnano Solus on 5 p.m. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that once again. Italian pronunciation is still a work in progress, as you could see. And then on August 3rd, back in Bassano del Grappa, so not in Laverone, but in Bassano del Grappa, it is FC Bassano versus Cittadella, August 3rd at 6 p.m. local time. That is, like I said, I can't say much about these games because I didn't watch it. All we have is, the box score and some videos of the players playing, and some photos, but other than that, not much. Hopefully soon we will get a guest that will be talking about these games, who have maybe even seen these games. So be on the lookout for that and stay tuned for that. But moving along, let's talk a little bit about the transfer market, as today it was officially, Thursday, it was officially announced that Filippo Pittarello has signed for Catanzaro. Done deal. It was announced today. We had known there was some rumors going around that Catanzaro were closing. It was a long negotiation process, but it has finally been sealed. Done deal. Pittarello was still on contract for Cittadella, so Cittadella do get, according to Padova Sport, it was a 600,000 euro transfer. It could be more because of bonuses for Cittadella, so it could rise to even, I saw a report, maybe 800,000 euros for Pittarello. It was a 3-year contract, but this is where I get a little confused, and maybe one of my Italian native speakers could help me out, because I'm still confused whether or not this is an official contract as a titolo definitivo, a official contract, no loan, or is this a loan contract? It doesn't. It seemed very weird for that, because a 3-year loan with another year to extend, a 4-year loan. It seems a little bit quite crazy to think about that, and quite bizarre. But in the official press release from Catanzaro, he did officially announce Pittarello as a, let me see here, I had the word, the titolo temporano. So in English, that basically means like a temporary transfer, which basically means it's a loan offer. But a 3-year loan, that it seems a little awkward a little bit. So I'm definitely going to try to get clarification on that. And if anybody, a native speaker, can clarify for this, is this really a permanent transfer, or is this a 3-year loan with the option to extend? But very, very interesting wording there, and I'll have to figure it out. But it's definitely, Cittadella is definitely going to get this cash, and this cash could be possibly used for buying 2 players that's on Cittadella's radar in recent days. The first one is Ismail Ashik, who is likely to arrive. The player has agreed on personal terms, but it is now up to Bari and Cittadella to reach an agreement. So Ashik has been playing for Bari this last season. He's a Moroccan international. I'm not sure if he's played international football, but he was born in Morocco. He did play against Cittadella very well. I do remember that game. He had a lot of opportunities. It was always the commentator was saying, Ashik, Ashik, Ashik. And he did play in that 1-1 draw, the final home match of the season. Yes, he did play in that match, but it's very interesting to see this, because he is still on contract for Bari. So if he was going to come to Cittadella, it'd probably be spending some cash a little bit for this player. The other player that's on Cittadella's radar, according to reports, is Jan Zuberek, 20-year-old Polish youth player from Inter. He has just one appearance for Ternana last season, where he was on loan. He just made one appearance, and that was his first game against Bari, actually, and he did not play ever since. But he is formerly in the Inter Primavera, a 20-year-old midfielder. Oh, no, sorry, center forward. So it does make sense that he would be filling in for Pittarello, as well as Ashik. Ashik is another attacker, can play in that position. And he's fairly young, 23 years old. Ashik mostly plays on the left wing, apparently. This is what FootMob is saying right now as I pull it up. As I have Zuberek on Transfer Market on one screen, and then on FootMob, because it's just so convenient, I have Ashik's stats here. But it looks like 23 appearances for Bari last season in Serie B. He did play for Adace Cerignola, if I pronounced that correctly, the season prior, where Bari bought him on a contract. He is still, I could still look up that for Ashik's contract. I believe it was until 2027 that his contract is running to at Bari. If I'm going to search it up right here, if Transfer Market gives me a good time, sometimes it doesn't, but Ismail Ashik from Bari, 23 years old from Morocco. According to Transfer Market, his contract expires on June 30th, 2027. So yes, it is likely that Cittadella will be spending money for him, unless they could get him on a loan transfer or whatnot. But you'd have to imagine that Cittadella sold Pittarello without having a plan to replace him with another player like Ashik or another player like Zubarek. There has to be some plan because I think Pittarello was too good of a player to be let go for nothing, for no reinforcement, no real plan of action. Marchetti did say that he wasn't putting Pittarello on the market, but if an offer came to him, and if it was a good offer like this was for Catanzaro, they get nearly $500,000 for this transfer. They have to take it. And we saw what Marchetti did with the Antonucci money, where he sold Antonucci in the previous summer to Spezia for $2 million, and then he bought the likes of Kornvik and Pittarello as well from I don't know if Kornvik was bought, but anyway, he used that money to buy those reinforcement players from last season, and that got off Cittadella to a good start, and we all know how that ended. But you get the idea. You get that Cittadella has to be doing something in these next few days, whether that's Ashik, whether that's Zubarek. I think you are definitely going to be seeing some money being thrown here by Cittadella on one of these attackers, or maybe even both. We'll have to see, and we'll keep you updated on that. But that's kind of all the transfer news I have right now. If anything comes up, once again, we'll be updating you on Instagram and Twitter. So don't forget to check us out there at CittaCalcioUsa. Now, that's going to be it for this podcast. I know it's a little shorter than usual, but this is a good update kind of podcast. It's once again, we're in the middle of summer, so there's only really preseason to talk about, and then transfer news to talk about. But like I said, Pittarello, thank you to him for his wonderful season last year. Remember, it was his first season in Serie B, and then he scores, I believe it was 6 goals and 4 assists, his official numbers. He hit the post way too many times. He's really was, every time he shot the ball, it seems like there was a magnet on the crossbar. It just seemed like, it just wouldn't, sometimes it wouldn't go in for him, but this time he ended up getting it. But I'm just going to pull up his stats real quick. 6 goals, 3 assists for Pittarello, and 35 Serie B games for Cittadella last season. So a very effective player for the Granata, and sad to see him go, but we wish him well at Catanzaro. And let's see what Cittadella does, because this is a good opportunity. I'm kind of dragging this podcast a little bit, but there's still striker options for Cittadella, whether it's Pandolfi, Maestrello, Magrassi, Baldini. There has been some rumors about Baldini going to Cesena, but there's still nothing firm, concrete yet. Pandolfi, there were some rumors, but I don't think they were true. So we'll keep an eye out on them, but I think there's still no time to panic. And we have to trust in Marchetti, like he's been doing for all these years, in getting the right players for this team to make a competitive team for the next season. All right, I'm going to end this podcast here. Thank you for listening to us. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CittaCalcioUsa, and visit our website at CittaCalcioUsa.com for more information, news, articles, all that stuff about AS Cittadella. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I will see you next week covering more Cittadella transfer news and reviewing the Festa dei Tifosi on Sunday. If you're going, have fun, send lots of pictures, tag us, we'll repost, and have a good time. For us, thank you for listening. We will see you next week, and as always, Forza Citta. Thank you for listening to the CittaCalcioUsa show. If you liked it, please share and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CittaCalcioUsa. See you next time, and remember, Forza Citta.